Welcome back to another video. You've looked at the title, you've probably seen the intro, but today I'm talking about this 28mm f2 Ultron lens. Now, I did a previous video, and this was probably maybe a year ago, when I talked about the best first lenses to get for the M-mount system. And this is one of the ones I mentioned. It's not too expensive, and to be honest, it's not really competing optically with the bigger, older brother Leica lenses. But what it is a fantastic first lens. It's great for people who want to join the rangefinder system. And what I'm going to do today is shoot a couple of rolls, maybe Tri-X, see what I get, and hopefully by the end you can make your own mind up.
So I started with a classic, the lift selfie. I do this because on the strip of negatives I can quickly place myself in that day, what I was doing, what I was up to. I walked over towards Regent's Park and you can see the sky is this one white box. There was no real detail, it was just that big low cloud cover. Here's an abandoned building with a bit of graffiti. I think I might be able to spot a little bit of barrel distortion here, but I'm not entirely sure. I took this shot of the bench. Yeah, the leaves are making a bit of a mess, but it looks quite wintry and quite calm. Let's zoom in a bit. You can see there's a little bit of foreground-background separation, even at such a wide angle. I don't know if this was f2, but I remember putting my shutter speed up to 1/1000, so it's probably f4, f5.6 at the most.
I'm just in Regent's Park now, and I'm going to head down towards central London. I'm probably going to walk through Oxford Circus, down Regent Street. It's a little bit chaotic because it's the Thanksgiving Thursday. Obviously Black Friday's tomorrow, but in the UK the deals have already started, and I'm going to see what I can get. Yeah, follow along.
I kept walking down through the park and I wasn't really looking for anything in particular. I was kind of just seeing what I saw. I took a few shots in the park. I walked down Portland Street. This is a side street with a view of the BT Tower. And I walked past this barber's, again somewhere in Fitzrovia. The next couple of shots were taken from the hip. And you can see that my aim's a little bit high here. I've slightly missed people's legs. But it gives a little bit of the sense of the chaotic, kind of busy energy that the street had. I think the shot would actually work better as a panoramic crop, if you imagine that 24:65 ratio, kind of X-Pan style. Let's have a look at that now. I think it looks a little bit better, but mainly because there's a lot of wasted space in the sky. I just missed this guy on his bike as well, kind of sternly veering around the corner as he continued on his way.
So I've walked down pretty far. I've shot about half a roll of my first roll. You've probably seen the pictures already, I haven't, and to be honest, it wasn't really ideal. The light's really flat today. I mean, I can give you a little look now, but apart from that, I'm going to keep going. I'm now down in Soho, so I'm in one of the squares. I think this one's called Golden Square, or Garden Square, I'm not quite sure. What I'm going to do is continue and just meander. If I come to a junction, I'll take whichever road looks preferable, and in doing so, hopefully, I'll wander, find somewhere more interesting, and I can finish both rolls of film.
This guy was doing that trick with the 3 cups, where you have to try and guess where the coin is or whatever. And I was pretty sure it's illegal, but he seemed to have not only a stage set up, but also a PA system built into his coat. So the guy was unbelievably loud. And yeah, if it is illegal, I don't think he'll get away with it for long.
So it's been an hour since I last had the camera out. I'm down in the centre of Covent Garden. I'll show you around over my shoulder. It's the Christmassy market bit. You can see the big tree. And I'm not finding too much inspiration. I'm about 5 frames, 6 frames from finishing my first roll, but I'm not sure I'll load the second one. What I'm going to do is probably start meandering towards the closest tube station. I know there's the Covent Garden one on the Piccadilly line, which is just maybe about 200 metres away. But I hope to finish the roll, and hopefully one roll there'll be enough to talk about. You've seen some of the shots already. I'm not really sure what I've got. I'm medium confident. Obviously I won't release the video if the pictures don't come out, but let's see what we get. I think people are a little bit unfair on Voigtländer, especially when you get into that weird world of M-mount lenses. People get a bit elitist and they say, oh, the only point of getting these bodies is the fancy glass, don't go for the second-rate stuff. But you've got to think about the point at which diminishing returns kicks in. The £300 or £350 you spend on a used lens like this gets you a 28 f2, and if you go into Leica land for the Summicron 28, you're going to spend at least £2,000. Even used, they can command two and a half quite easily. The Voigtländer lens, it's not a spherical, it's not that sort of tiny Elmerette one that doesn't really block your finder. It has a bit of that, but the focus is smooth. It has the nice built-in hood. You can remove it for filters, and it feels like a solid and well-made lens. I mean, it has printed in on the bottom of it, made in Japan, which for Canon and Nikon lenses is seen as a mark of craftsmanship. Just because it doesn't come out of Wetzlar doesn't mean that it's second-rate kit. So I'm almost home now. I'm back up in North London and I only shot one roll. When I opened the camera, I was a bit surprised because I thought I was shooting Tri-X, but there was a roll of HP5 that I'd rolled myself waiting there. Now, it's not a problem, they're both 400 speed, but it was interesting to open the camera and see something I didn't recognize, or rather didn't expect. I was just walking back as the lights failed, but it did make me think of one more point, particularly about faster lenses and wider angle lenses. If you think about it, a 28 f2 actually gives you about as much exposure as a 51.4, just purely because you're able to use a lower shutter speed handheld. Now, if you're freezing motion, obviously just disregard that, that's not going to work. But if you are looking to use your wider lens, you can push it slightly further into the dark because, because you're having a wider field of view. Any little handheld motion isn't quite as visible on your negative. I've already taken my lift selfie, so that's it, all done.
Okay, time to wrap up and give my closing thoughts. Now, I might have been a little bit hard on this lens. A few times during the review, I said optically it can't compete, or it's not as well made. But I think that I'm making too great a distinction between this sort of mythical Leica lens and just all other lenses. It is a great bit of kit, and if you get to 90% as sharp or 95% as sharp, you are actually getting a pretty long way. I used to shoot the Elmerette 28, and I've actually got a review of that on my channel as well, so that little card down here. But it's not all about how much detail you can resolve or how perfect your plane of focus is or whatever. It's also just about how it is to use and how much fun you can have, how great the images you can produce with it are, all of that kind of stuff. And I think that this lens does perform really well. Now, just a little bit about the handling of the lens. It is really smooth, and it's not something that you're gonna notice a build quality deficit in. This hood's pretty smart, and I'll show you this now. I mean, it's a metal screw-on, but you can remove it. So if I just show you this up close, the front of the hood is just a metal ring, yeah? So I unscrew this, and you can see that comes off. And it's actually threaded inside and outside the barrel, so you can put your 46mm filters on, and if they're thin enough, you can actually screw this back over them. That's a neat addition. Obviously, most M-mount lenses, you have a clip-on, but that works fine for me. I have a lot of positive things to say about it. I think during the review, I was just focusing on it in comparison, but as a standalone, it is fantastic. And I hope that you enjoyed my walk through London and maybe enjoyed some of the pictures. Now, you might have noticed that I am no longer in London, or I don't know how you could tell just from the background, but I'm not. I've just driven for 4 hours. I'm actually really tired. I can't wait to go to sleep. But I have come down to Cornwall to film some more videos. Have been a bit slow on the channel recently, and I get busy, I don't know what to do, and I kind of get, I kind of put the YouTube stuff to the side. But I've got a big weekend, or actually long weekend, of videos planned. I'm going to try and do 2. The first of which is a direct one-to-one comparison of Ilford's FB4 and Delta. Now, because I'm using this Hasselblad 500 series, I'm actually going to shoot those together. And what I'll do is I'll set the tripod up, shoot the back, and then shoot the other one. These are actually still loaded with God knows what, but I will be doing that, and then also my analog review series, just talking about shooting landscapes, or in this particular instance, seascapes with one of these. So that should be fun, and other than that, thanks for watching, stay tuned for more, and I'll see you in the next video.